Hello everyone, watch this review here with a look at Namor, the Submariner, from the Hasbro Marvel Legends line, the Fantastic Four wave. Now, Namor was one of my early favorite comic book characters, mostly because he was one of the first comic books that I'd actually picked up. Now, I've had several copies of this. This isn't the actual first one, and always they're bundled with something else. Originally, when I saw this, it was like mixed in with a Scooby-Doo, a Richie Rich, and I don't know what the logic is behind this, but yeah, let's toss in Scooby, let's do Richie Rich, and we need a third comic, let's just toss in a guy in a Speedo. But whenever I see him, or I get like an auction or something, just random comics, often it includes this. I don't know why it includes a copy of Namor #2, but you know, now, what originally drew me to this wasn't the fact that it had a half-naked dude here. I'm sure that would be exciting for a lot of people, but personally not me. I was more attracted by the kick-ass looking Griffin that he was fighting, or actually it looked more like a Manticore, but his name is Griffin, I think. It was a pretty cool book and stuff, and here we have a character who can fly, he's got super strength, he can breathe underwater, and it's like, throughout the entire 90s I was wondering, why the hell does this guy get more attention? Why don't people see how cool he is? But for whatever reason, just never saw the love. So I was pretty happy when he finally got a action figure that I learned about in, just I think about 1995. I'm not sure, he might have had action figures before then, but it could punch and stuff, and it was a pretty kick-ass looking figure, but honestly, resemblance not terribly there. So Marvel Legends eventually came out with one, but it was wasn't the look I was familiar with. But thankfully, eventually, Hasbro did put out one that had the crazy Speedo look that I was accustomed to. And also, humorously enough, one of his big video game appearances for me, because he didn't really have any video game spots, was Captain America and the Avengers, the old arcade beat 'em up, like the start of level 2. He pops up and goes, "They're escaping into the sea." And Captain America replies, "Thank you, Submariner." Like they couldn't see a giant army of people was escaping into the sea, but probably the most pointless cameo ever. But like I was saying, this is an even better figure, thankfully, and I do feel that it captures, the general physique and appearance of the character a lot better than this over-muscled, hulkish dude over here. Let's quickly flip to a page. Now, naturally, after all this time, I actually don't have many comics involving Namor. I think mostly just crossovers with other characters, but as you can see, he's always been a much slimmer dude, or at least the Namor I'm used to, so very cool. Now, paint-wise, because, when you have a bearskin character, it's always a little iffy how they do this, but in this case, they added a lot of different flesh tones and coloring, so his, skin has a lot of, appearance to it, so you notice there's darkening here, so forth. By the way, I still don't know how to edit with this. I just need to get an editing software, so I mean this reviews could be a little bit choppier than usual, but I mean, very nice look. I mean, the only real downside is how they did a few of the joints here, like with legs. Just got the kind of crappy thing where it just doesn't seem to move as well as it could. I know a few people actually also complain about the ball and sockets on the knees and elbows, but I've generally preferred those just for the additional range of motion. But as mentioned, this joint here just kind of bugs me, because you can never get the thing go exactly how you want to. But yeah, a quick run through of articulation. We have a ball and socket here at the elbow, sorry, wrist. And this is why I enjoy editing stuff, because when I don't edit, I just pop out random stuff, and that's not cool. Now, ball and socket again at the elbow. Ball joint shoulder. Good range of motion in the neck here, which is awesome, because he is both a flying character and a swimming character, so you do need a pretty good range of neck motion. And this mostly gets the job done, especially when used in conjunction with the upper torso joint here, so you can get him into like a swimming or flying pose or whatever. Now again, we have that kind of crappy joint here at the hip. Knee, another ball and socket. Ankle, ball and socket. Now the wings here, you'll notice there's a little bit of bleed between that and the ankle. You know, kind of a small thing, but the actual wings themselves are flattened out. I'm not sure if that was the way it just showed up or if it's how it happened shipped, because I bought him loose. Actually, the person was nice enough to send the actual card. I paid, I think it was $25 shipping for him. I also had the insert, but I've just misplaced it since I bought him. I have the card in hand though, but just look at the rest of the wave. Unfortunately, I didn't find this one in stores. I don't know if this was one I wasn't collecting or whatever, but yeah, a lot of the figures look pretty decent. Shame I didn't manage to pick them up in stores, but all in all, you know, it's a character I like. I like this representation of him. I think it's a pretty decent figure. You know, I mean, the one area they could have improved, of course, is making his trident here, or whatever pole arm this may be, look a little bit more metallic, because it just has a generic cheap sheen to it. I mean, even if they went with like the same paint on the bracelets, because at least that looks like metal, whereas this just looks like plastic. But hey, you know, doesn't really detract from the figure. If you don't like it, you can just take it out of his hand. But yeah, that's been a look at the the Hasbro Marvel Legends Fantastic Four Wave Namor, the Submariner. Until next time, folks.